Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Double up.
Champion.
Yes, sir. Stagnation. Welcome back to the channel. Look, let's just jump into this thing real quick here, man. There is evolution. There is cycles of things, right? Some things come up and then they die, right? Some things will be great and then eventually, you know what I mean? They're just not great anymore. And when that happens, you have to let it go, right? Now, or the other way is that when you start fading out, when you start becoming obsolete, you can evolve as well, right? You can reinvent yourself, and this is really, to be honest, they
call it pivot, right? In your business model,
exactly. You have to pivot, exactly. Right? You have to change direction. Listen, man. Once upon a time, my uncle said something to me, man. He said everyone can climb the ladder, but you have to make sure you're climbing up the correct ladder, right? Because if you're climbing up a ladder and it's not the right one, then you're wasting time, right? Now you have to come back down and go find the correct ladder. But here's the thing: you have to be able to pivot, right? And this is I think that one of the things that incentivize change, right? And for sure, one of the things that incentivize change is decentralization, right? When things are distributed, when there are alternatives, when there is competition, right? Then you find yourself in this situation where people will change their behavior for the better, right? Or to align themselves with whatever is profitable. Mm-hmm. Now, what are we talking about here? We're talking about CNN because, first of all, CNN is on its way out. Okay, this is one thing that we have to acknowledge here. But check this out. Breaking news is broken at CNN. The new buzz wants less sensationalism and bias and more coverage of actual news. I mean, isn't this interesting that we are reading an article about the news, and the news wants to cover actual news? What is going on? Wait, dude, we're in the Matrix, bro. We are in the Matrix. It is ridiculous. First of all, for the longest of times, we've had debates which are just unnecessary debates. First of all, about people who think who is right and who is is giving you alternative truths. Is it, what does it? Alternative facts?
Truths. I know, facts versus truths. So that's a whole conversation on itself.
So exactly. So now, as we find ourselves here, we can clearly see that the most credible entities have lost all credibility, man.
Sure. Were they ever really credible? That's the question.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, they were never really credible, and it just got worse over time. They were never really credible. These guys are as good as clowns right now, because this is what sucks about this. Because with their credibility goes the credibility of other institutions, like, well, whatever institutions they're associated with, Harvard, right, Stanford, and all those other people, because we are seeing the product of your whatever it is you guys are doing there, of your lab, right? So remember the version of CNN when it was oddly obsessed with all things on the Trump regime.
God, that was terrible. I mean,
wasn't that a rough one?
You should ask yourself, even I probably ask the audience, when was the last time you took the time and spent 10 minutes on CNN? Just think about it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. I think CNN got to a point where it turned into more of a reality show than actual news. Because I remember back in the day, man, when I think there was things like Canal Plus. I don't know if it was BCC. It was a British channel. But the whole point is, it was like NPR, right? It was just the news. Right, just the facts. This is what happened, not our opinion. We're not trying to sway you. But I think when it became extremely pronounced was during the Trump regime, right? Because these guys just went from reporting the news to just outright splashing their emotions across everyone, or the whole nation, or the audience, if you will. Go ahead.
I think this article is talking about CNN, but I think we have a trend here. There was a point where CNBC was trying to get Kevin hired full time because, again, CNBC is losing its team as well. Fox News is also losing its team, so they're trying to figure out other alternatives by hiring other progressives. And now CNN, the new boss at CNN, is now saying, hey, guys, enough sensation. Let's focus on the news. But the reality is, when was the last time you guys really focused on the news? Even way before Trump.
Exactly.
They've never really, like, you will get an event going on, and then it gets so loud, like repeated 24/7 for like a week straight, and all of a sudden it just disappears and something else replaces it. And people are like, but what happened to the other one? It's not yet solved. Like, you didn't give us the information. You just got a bunch of
I'll give you an
forums.
example. I'll give you an example of such a situation.
Most recent one, right?
No, most recent. let's roll it. Let me start from 2019. Okay, there were riots and protests going on or starting to boil up across the world. Okay, Japan. If you remember, before, many people never think about what was happening, pre-COVID. There were riots coming up in Japan. We had China. Where else? India, Russia, even the United States.
Nigeria.
Of course, Nigeria, right? Cameroon. So like all of these countries were like these riots, there was all these uprisings of the people. And then boom, suddenly lockdown.
COVID.
Right? And the interesting thing is CNN was not covering these riots when there were all these uprisings as they were happening. Right? But then they were like heavy on the COVID situation. And then it almost seemed like the agenda of vaccines became its own thing, minus the COVID. Like, we're not going to talk about the fact that we just shut down everyone's life for almost 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Shut down the whole world for almost 3 years. Printed an unprecedented amount of money, lying about the inflation rate and what happened to the money. Right? And then all of a sudden, forget COVID, forget vaccines. Boom, we're in Russia now.
Yeah,
right?
Inflation.
Exactly.
That's what they want to talk about.
And then they blame it on Russia. And then all of a sudden, boom, forget Russia. We're rolling back abortion rights. Is it abortion rights? Which one was the one? Right, Roe v. Wait, which was, dude, that was so random.
Out of nowhere.
Right?
In the middle of Russia versus Ukraine. Boom. Out of nowhere.
What happened with Roe v. Wade, man? Because apparently now we're on the shooting cycle.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, shootings are not a good thing. I don't want to make light of that. It's a horrible thing. But just more like in the sense of, according to the news, right? This is what they're all about pushing right now.
And they repeat the same thing over and like there's nothing else going on in the rest of the world, and that's not news. And I think this is why this is a great topic for us, because we see decentralization as a solution to this.
Yeah.
Mass media has been really managed by a very small handful of people, and they control what you hear. As a matter of fact, the agenda, the way they present the information to you, is designed in a way to get you to think a certain way instead of you just getting the information. And I think that's why America has been misinformed. I grew up on CNN. I saw Fox News. Because of some members of my family wanted to see Fox News. But then MSNBC and then CNBC CNBC, what's his name? Screwed up my finances when I was in college investing because I was
Kramer?
following him. Kramer. Oh yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to buy Citibank. Go ahead and buy. Ooh, whatever the crap it says. And the next thing you know, your portfolio is crashing. So like they have been leading people off for the longest.
Oh no!
And seeing CNN go through this right now.
Put Kramer to bed. Yeah,
Kramer, man. Sure.
Look, this is the thing. I will take it a step further. I will say this, okay? Because the reason we're covering this is because these are some of the things that are very interesting. When we talk about Bitcoin, right, and when we invest in Bitcoin, is because we believe in the principles behind it, right? One of those principles is decentralization, and I will go as far as to say that we are seeing the effects of decentralization take effect right now. Joe Rogan is bigger than CNN. How insane is that?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan gets more viewers than CNBC, CNN, Fox News. So this is one person who literally just turns on his camera and rolls, okay? And there's hundreds of YouTubers like that, right? And this also means that the people now are gaining control. They're able to
Select.
let's say this is they're able to is the media is less censored. You can get different angles of things, right? And that is through decentralization, because there's now more outlets than the traditional ones. And so the traditional outlets cannot compete. So the only way you can compete is to change your ways. And I think this is what you're looking at right here.
Exactly. Was to try to buy people out or destroy people, because the attack against Joe Rogan came out of nowhere. That guy is not racist. Come on, Joe Rogan racist?
Look,
I mean, he may have said a few things way back then, but they were put out of context.
Right. Okay. Well, let's say Joe Rogan is racist. Who is judging him? CNN.
It's
Is CNN trying to tell me that they are more morally upstanding than Joe Rogan? Because how is diversity looking like in CNN? What do they know about black people in CNN?
The most diversity.
You know what I'm saying? CNN does not speak for black. This is one thing that dudes. Man, let me calm down. Let me calm down. Let me calm down, bro. Let me calm down, man. I'm just going to put it in one sentence. CNN is not black people media. CNN does not represent black people. Because they make it look that way. And that shit annoys me. Listen to this. Lich is now the new leader over there at CNN, right? And so he says this is
the new Oga at the top.
Oga at the top now, Chris Lich. Yeah. Chris Lich is the man. You know what I'm saying? He's come through. He says this is a great starting point to try and make breaking news mean something big is happening. That's what breaking news is supposed to mean. We are truth tellers, focused on informing, not alarming our viewers. Right? So there's a mission of alarming viewers, as we've pointed out here constantly over the past multiple years. Right? And so he's saying we're already seeing far less of this breaking news banner. Here's the thing, man. I think that the whole Trump situation, CNN made it worse than it should be.
All the channels did. I just think it was just BS.
Yeah, it was just. And so, look, man, this is what decentralization does. When you realize that you're losing the power, the only way you can compete is to assimilate.
Guess what?
Put that somewhere. Put that somewhere. That's my quote.
That's your
Yeah, say that again. Take your pen. I'm gonna have to rewind this thing. God damn.
God, you almost forgot how to go to
Sheesh. Carry on, sir.
We need a page. We need a page called Brazen's Quotes.
Hey, listen, man. Yes, Brazen's Quotes, man. We need to get that page going. Because, bro, I tell you, man, sometimes these things just pop out of my head. I'm like, look, I say some things sometimes, and I feel like I just got shook by an earthquake by my brain. It's insane. I don't know if other human beings have this experience.
I was gonna say this is a good time to put in a quick pitch in there for Anchor. You know, if you're looking for decentralized media, you know, information the way it should be. Definitely check out Anchor. Definitely check out Spotify. That's basically what they do. You know, give you the information, allow you to listen to folks like us that just give you the information straightforward with zero agenda. Even though we'll talk about Bitcoin, we're not fully like Bitcoin maximists. If Bitcoin F's up, we'll tell you the fact about Bitcoin.
Let me say, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, you know, Kenny is not. I don't want to make it seem like the show is about Bitcoin maximalist. Kenny is not a Bitcoin maximalist. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. But hey, guess what? We're doing a show together.
Yeah.
And this is part of what this is about, right? Like society has just gone to this point where everything is so one-sided. You are either on my team or you're the enemy.
Yep.
What sort of insanity is this?
Hey, that's not the way human beings are designed, by the way.
Yes, man. There is middle ground. Yep. There is middle ground, and I think that we can be an example of that, man.
All that crap about Republic versus Democrat, they can't even figure out simple gun regulation. Talking us trying to figure out crypto regulation.
Exactly. No, I was just saying, like, you know, but carry on, man. Sorry, I interrupted you because I just wanted to point that out there as well. It's like, you know, because we do the show together all the time, and it's if we're doing a show together all the time, does not mean that we have to agree on everything. This is what keeps things.
This is what makes Anchor great. Anchor is not trying to say that, oh, I am CNN and I only want this type of information coming out of my content. Yeah. Anchor says, just display your content, be yourself, and you're good.
There we
Check
go.
out Anchor.
Hey, man. Link is going to be in the description below. This is a great outcome of decentralization, or the aspect of decentralization. uncensored
We
media,
almost did.
people being able to create their own media, independent media, is definitely on the rise, and the traditional media is unable to compete, or at least they're becoming less and less competitive, because we're in a time where it does not matter if CNN has billions of dollars to throw at advertising. Kids go on YouTube.com. That's free. Okay? And to watch people who are relatable to them, that is free. You know?
Yep.
Any final thoughts, sir, before we roll out?
Yeah. I would say one further step that I look to see in the near future is a true final decentralization of media, which you can probably see on the layer 2 of Bitcoin. So that way, instead of Anchor or Spotify or any of all these institutions fully controlling your content, Anchor
actually,
designs a layer 2 solution where you have full ownership.
When you pointed that out, I just thought about this because I was doing some research last night, and I found this app actually, right? And it is built on the Bitcoin
And it's a
blockchain network,
media
right?
app.
It's a podcast app.
Oh wow.
It's called Fountain.
Oh, Fountain
Yes,
of Life.
I've downloaded it. We'll explore it, and we can do a review on it sometime soon.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. All right, let's get out of here, man. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, get your Bitcoin off the exchanges. Brazen out.
Double O.
All right.